Now, for more on the protest, let's bring in Eric Farnsworth, who is the Vice President of the Council of the Americas and who recently returned from Brazil. Eric, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
You just got back. How did a protest over bus fare increases mushroom into something this size?
I think that's what a lot of people are scratching their heads trying to figure out. What clearly started as a restrained protest against a specific issue has turned into a mass movement in Brazil. Something has really struck a chord in the Brazilian psyche to bring out the middle class, the people who normally don't go to the streets, around the country, not just in the big cities. This is a mass movement at this point, and what's happening is that I think people have been reminded by new buildings for the World Cup and the Confederations Cup, new stadiums, glistening new buildings, that with all the money going into some of these projects, their daily lives maybe haven't improved. The infrastructure still lags. Education is still in many ways not accessible to everyone, so there's some real problems. So it's really struck a chord.
Is this in any way politically inspired? Because, I've seen some figures that says most of the protesters say they don't belong to any political parties.
That's exactly right. I don't really think it is politically inspired. There are political elements from the left and the right who are now seeking to take advantage of it. But this is clearly a movement of people who are not affiliated with party. In fact, in some ways, it's a reaction against established politics, because in some ways, according to many Brazilians that you talk to, the established political class has not delivered the results that the people really expect in a rising middle class. So in some ways, it's very apolitical, but there are some elements that are trying to take advantage of that, but I don't think that's the primary character of these protests.
But how does the government respond to this? I mean, we had Dilma Rousseff, who's just addressed the nation. As Stephen Gibbs told us, she made an 11-minute speech there saying that there will be part of funds which the government gets from oil that's going to be used towards education, etc. But is that going to satisfy the people who've been demonstrating?
Well, we'll have to see. I think one thing we can say is that the government was slow to recognize the seriousness of this. They really didn't take it seriously, and now they're trying to catch up, play a little bit of defense. I think what the president said was predictable, that there would be more social spending. But ultimately, that's not the issue. The issue is responsive governance. The issue is anti-corruption. And the last time we saw protests like this in Brazil were in the early 1990s, and it led to the downfall of a president. And so I think that the Planalto Palace, which is where the president is very nervous about this and looking to see what they can do to really address some of the concerns of the protesters, and I think they'd be wise to do so.
And I think the other thing that these demonstrations have shown us is the power of social media.
Absolutely.
Because many of these people came out because of messages that they received on things like Twitter and Facebook.
This is not a protest you probably would have seen 10 years ago for precisely that reason. It used to be that Brazil was the land of sand and samba and soccer, and I think we can add social media to that too. Right. So it's clearly a country where social media is playing an important role in terms of organization.
Okay, Eric, we've run out of time, but I'm going to get your views just on one very quick thing. Is the World Cup and the Olympics threatened in any way?
I don't think they're threatened. These are global events. The fact is they're some distance in the future. I think Brazil will get beyond this immediate crisis, but it is something that really has to be watched closely.
Eric Farnsworth, thank you.
Thank you.